I said, they ain't ready for the LSU. No, they ain't ready for the LSU, huh? They ain't ready for the LSU. No, they ain't ready for the LSU. We the best in the league if you looking for talent. LSU going hard, but we beat Alabama, then we going out to Florida. Drown the Gators, everybody getting bucked when we step in the stadium. This the LSU anthem, you know it's a hit. You don't know another rapper two-step like this. See me screaming out the window, yelling purple and gold. I'm an LSU fan, girl, you know how we roll now. Back and back it on up. Hey, 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 way down in the back.
TA, we are live. And yes, I need to go ahead and get it out of the way. I am riding solo tonight. Unfortunately, Reagan is not able to join because he is on baby duty tonight. McKenna wasn't feeling well. And so Reagan is having to take care of both McKenna, or I should say all of McKenna, Zeke, and Luca, the new baby boy. So he is going to be taking a break from tonight, and he will be back with us on Friday. I do also have to inform y'all that unfortunately Gary Redis had to reschedule. So we're going to work on rescheduling an interview with him. He had something come up, unfortunately. Had to be able to not be on tonight. Couldn't be on tonight. So I apologize to all of our viewers, our listeners who are looking forward to that. We will work with him in order to reschedule another time for him to come on and talk with us. I certainly can understand why. I mean, he is an extremely busy man, obviously, with all the work that he has put forth into recruiting and in the transfer portal. So, all good, no worries. We will discuss and talk with him and try to figure out the best time for him to come on the show and talk with us. But I do want to thank all of y'all that wished me a happy birthday. I had a really good birthday on Sunday. Got to kind of celebrate this whole weekend, honestly, just getting to spend time with friends and family. So really, really enjoyed getting to do that. Got to do a lot of different things. Obviously, got to watch all of the LSU baseball series against Bama, which we're about to get into and discuss. And what a way for me to celebrate the birthday weekend with a sweep over Alabama. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but ever since me and Reagan were growing up, we always hated Alabama. We just despised them. We could not stand Alabama and like everything. So to be able to see LSU baseball get a sweep over Bama on my birthday weekend, kind of the cherry on top. It was awesome, especially on Sunday for them to be able to win the third game. It was amazing, but really enjoyed getting to spend time with friends and family. Got a lot of LSU gifts. So now that we do the podcast, a lot of people just buy me a bunch of LSU stuff, which is totally cool. Love it. But thank all of you who wished me a happy birthday. It was indeed a great birthday. But let's go ahead and let's dig into the 3-game series. Obviously, LSU taking all 3 games. And I want to start off by saying how they took all 3 games was awesome, because some of y'all may do this, some of y'all may not. But if you listen to Musso at the Box, his podcast, which I listen to every day, he releases every day, gives you some really good insight. He just kind of breaks down the game, does a lot of what we're doing. But something that he said today really, really stuck with me. LSU won all 3 of these games in a complete different fashion. All right, game 1, you won off of the back of starting pitching. Game 2, you won off the back of your bullpen. And game 3, you won off the back of just outslugging the opponent. So let's go ahead. Let's look at all 3 of these games, kind of get into them a little into detail, because I really liked what I saw in all 3 games, especially when discussing the 3 different ways that you won these games. That is going to bode very well for you in postseason play. But before we do that, let's get to some comments. I see a bunch of y'all in here. Robert's in here. He says, how's everyone doing tonight? Ryan, of course, as always, in here. Tyler Townsend saying, what's up, guys? Appreciate you, Ryan, and the support. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and share. If you're not subscribed, please do so. Let's see who else. Back and forth. Prayers for Reagan. Yes, I mean, he's having to take care of 3 people at once, his wife and his 2 kids. So, yes, for sure. Cardone sounds like he's closing the deal. Could be. We'll see. Adam B, happy birthday. I appreciate it. Adam, bro, you already know what I'm gonna say, man. Like, I'm trying to get you free merch, bro. You gotta. I know you gotta give me the total, bro. I'm trying to help you out, my guy. I'm trying to help you. But I know you are busy. I know you are busy trying to plan for a wedding, so I hope that is going well. Ryan said it better be because of Anissa Moro is committing. I hope so. We're gonna get into that on the second, or excuse me, the last part of the show in the final segment. But if you are just joining us, unfortunately, we did have to cancel Gary coming on tonight. We're going to try and rework a schedule. He was not able to come on tonight. I'm sure something come up, something busy. I mean, as we've discussed, he's very busy trying to recruit and also discuss, discussing the transfer portal, which we will discuss. He had hosted and visited with Anissa Moro this past week, which we discussed on our Friday podcast. So sure, he's behind the scenes doing a lot. But let's go ahead and let's discuss the 3 games from this weekend. So game 1, obviously, Paul Skeens went out and he did what you expect him to do. He went out and he dominated. I thought he did a little bit better this game than he has in the past couple of games. Seems like every pitch was working for him. Seems like he was able to do what he wanted. But Bama was able to be able to get a few hits. Obviously, Andrew Pickney, who, thank God you don't have to face him again, dude. He was all over the place. Should be player of the week for the SEC. He had a 5-hit day on Friday night. He got a homer off Skeens, which is his 4th he's given up this season. And then, you had a few hits here and there, but Skeens did what he was supposed to do. He did what he always does, which is he commanded the strike zone, blew the fastball by hitters, and when he needed to, he landed the breaking ball. So overall, you won this game off the back of your starting pitching and Paul Skeens. But let's see what the offense is. So in the second, you started off solo home run by Tommy White. Tommy White had a phenomenal weekend. He continues just to really impress me. Robert, Dylan Cruz won SEC play. Okay, so Dylan Cruz, okay, I'm just now seeing this. I must have missed it. Okay, listen, I think he kind of got robbed. I think Pinkney kind of got robbed a little bit. At least should have been Co. He at least should have been Co. I'm not against Dylan Cruz winning SEC Player of the Week, but Andrew Pinkney from Alabama should have at least been Co. I mean, the dude had 5 hits on Friday, and 3 of them were off of the best pitcher in college baseball. So I'm just saying. I know y'all might not like that, but Pinkney at least deserved Co SEC Player of the Week. So you started off the second inning with a solo home run by Tommy White, which got the scoring going. In the third inning, Milazzo singled, Trey walked, and then Cruz homer, which made it 4-1. Which, by the way, Milazzo had a phenomenal weekend. I understand he didn't play in the Saturday game, but Friday and Sunday, he was phenomenal. We'll go through his ABs that really contributed. But in the third, you had 3 runs. In the 6th, you had a walk by Beloso, double by JT. Milazzo walked, so single, then a walk. Even if he just does that at the bottom of the lineup, I'm totally fine with it. Dugas got hit by pitch, which I'm pretty sure happened in every single game this weekend. That dude continues to be a ball magnet. Pitchers continue to hit him. Dugas got hit by pitch. Trey walked, and then Cruz walked, and that gave you 3 runs in the 6th. In the 7th, JT walked, Jones walked, Frey walked, which, again, 2 freshmen there that had really big time ABs to be able to draw the walk, back-to-back walks. And then Milazzo, again, making things happen, producing at the bottom of the lineup, lays down a bunt, and you get a score. Honestly, guys, on Friday, LSU really dominated this game. Skeens dominated. The offense was able to hit enough to be able to get across 8 runs. Herring came in. Herring did fine. I know everybody's going to want to talk about the 9th, right? And how everything kind of unraveled there, and you gave up a 4 spot in the 9th. I understand it's frustrating, but I thought Herring did phenomenal. Guys, he extended the longest he had this season. 70, I think it was 73, 74 pitches that he pitched on Friday night. That's the most he has pitched this season. The second most was, I think, 64. So we're talking 10 to 11 more pitches that Herring had on Friday night than he has all season, right? That's the longest he's extended. I think you tried to stretch him a little too much, which is okay because he's going to have to do that in the future, in the seasons to come. I think Griffin Herring is a very likely suspect to be a potential starter, maybe next year or in 2 years. I think he has that capability. And so you want to see him to be able to extend it a little bit more. Maybe that was the reason that they left him out here that they left him out there that long, is they wanted to see if they could get a little bit more out of him. And ultimately the gas just ran out. It just ran out. And unfortunately they were able to scratch across a lot of runs there. But I don't know about y'all. I really was not worried. I really was not concerned. And LSU ultimately wins game 1, 8-6. And it really wasn't as close as the score turned out. I understand the ninth was frustrating, but you got the dub. Collins came in with the breaking ball, was able to get the final out. Tigers win game 1, and that's all you can ask for. Game 2 was completely different. So game 1, you relied on your offense and the backing of your starting pitching, which is a lot of what Friday nights, Thursday nights, whenever Skeens is pitching, that's what's going to happen. You're going to rely on him, and that's what's going to happen in those games. Game 2 was completely different. You really hoped that Ty Floyd would be able to extend and do like he did last week when against Ole Miss, when he went 8 1/3. By far his best game. It'll probably be his best game of the season. But you wanted just to see him, replicate that. You wanted to see him to be able to get past the first couple of innings, because he always seems to struggle a little bit there in the first few innings, and then be able to extend and get outs and preserve the bullpen a little bit in game 2. Unfortunately, that's not what happened. He struggled a lot in the first inning, gave up 2 runs, but you were able to kind of get out of that jam. It could have been a lot worse. You're able to, and in the second, he puts up a 0, which is, and you're like, okay, maybe this is where we get going again. This has been happening all year. Okay, maybe this is where he settles in like he has before, and we were able to get some extension. Unfortunately, the third came and it was bad. It was just really bad. And you get to the point where you are now at 6-1. In the second, White walked, Beloso singled, JT was hit by pitch, and then a double play by Hayden Travinsky scored to give you your first run of the game. The third happens, and you're down 6-1 midway through the third. And I don't know about y'all, but I know there was a lot of fans. Some of my family members were extremely upset and thinking that this is where we lost, this is where we're going to lose the series. And I was completely comfortable because we know what this offense can do. And sure enough, right after you get down 6-1 and Ty Floyd is chasing, you're going, oh crap, now we have to rely for 6 innings, we have to rely on the bullpen, which has been the Achilles heel, right? And in the third, Dugas, second time this weekend, hit by pitch, Trey singles, and then White hits the home run, and all of a sudden you're back in it. You get 3 runs in the third, and it's 6-4. And you knew then LSU was going to be able to put up runs. This was going to be a ball game. They weren't going to run away from it. From that point on, it was, can the bullpen? You knew that the offense was going to be putting up points, putting up runs. But the question was, can the bullpen limit the runs? Okay. And what did they do? That's exactly what they did. You had phenomenal outings by Javen Coleman, Thatcher Hurd, and Coop. They all had phenomenal outings on Saturday. So you're able to bring it within 2, 6-4. Then you are down 7. Then you are down 7-4 after they scored, and then in the 6th, Cruz walked, White singled, Beloso hit a sharp ground ball to first. They go for the fielder's choice, bobbled at second base, So Beloso gets on, Cruz scores. Travinsky then comes up and for the second time in as many weekends hits a 3-run bomb to make it 8-7. And there you have it. And then from that point on, LSU did not relent the lead. In the 7th, Cruz got on an error. White singled again. Beloso laid down a bunt to be able to score Cruz. That gave you a run, which made it 9-7, I believe. They scored, I think, in the 8th inning, or maybe it was the 7th. I have to go back and look at it, but I think it was the 9th. I can't remember exactly. Anyways, they scored again, but Hurd came in and shut it down. I loved what Hurd did out of the pen. He looked the best that he has since Texas. He was attacking the zone. He was landing his pitches for strikes, and he was forcing hitters underneath the ball. They were popping it up. I think it was a very positive outing for Hurd moving forward. I would want to see more of that. And we mentioned a few episodes ago that you were going to have to get better production, more success out of guys like Hurd and Cooper. And I understand, the game that Cooper had on Sunday, it ended kind of badly, and we'll talk more about that. But Cooper had a good weekend. Hurd had a good weekend. Javen Coleman had a good weekend. Those are veteran guys. Those are guys that you are kind of counting on, especially down the stretch, to be able to hold their own for the bullpen. You're going to have it. Obviously Shores is done for the year. Garrett Edwards doesn't seem like he's going to be back anytime soon. Obviously Grant Taylor was out for the season. So Nate Aggenhausen struggled this weekend. You hope that he can bounce back, but seems like maybe the injury, he's still trying to get back to full strength and still trying to get back in the groove of things after the injury. So you're going to have some of your veteran guys step up. And that's exactly what they did on Saturday. Your veteran guys stepped up and made massive, massive outs. Think about the job Blake Money did. I mean, Blake Money came in. I can't remember exactly what inning it was. I want to say it was the 7th, the top of the 7th or something like that, and gave you a 3-down inning. Blake Money had that really good outing on Saturday. So ultimately, you're able to win game 2. In the 8th, there was a walk by Hayden Travinsky. Jones homered, Dugas double, which was awesome to see because Dugas has really, really been struggling, at the plate, especially coming back from the injury. I still don't think he is 100%, but he was able to get a double there in game 2, and that was extremely, extremely massive. Cruz single to bring him in, and then Hurd gives you a 3-down top of the 9th to be able to end any threat of Alabama coming back, and you win that game 12-8. Game 3, it's Sunday. You can get greedy. You can get greedy. And again, you're hoping that Christian Little can extend and give you extra innings, can take away some outs to help your bullpen out. And that kind of I would say it was it wasn't what you wanted because last weekend he went 6, and that was phenomenal. And then you've had, weekends where he got ran out extremely early. This weekend, he kind of met you in the middle. You wanted him to extend long. He kind of met you in the middle. He struggled in the first, but limited the damage there. To be able to only give up 1 run in the first was massive. Struggle with command. You obviously had the error with Trey Morgan in the outfield, which battling the sun, hit his glove, bounced off. They only scored 1 in that inning, which was massive. In the second, he gives you a pretty good inning, doesn't score anything, and then at the bottom of the second, JT singles and Jones homers, and you're up 2-1. In the third, he gets in more trouble, but it gets you a massive, massive strikeout with the bases loaded to limit the damage there and keep Alabama off the scoreboard in the third. At the bottom of the third, Cruz gives you a solo home run, so you're up 3-1. But by the end of the fifth, Ackenhausen had to come in. Little was struggling still. Ackenhausen comes in, and Ackenhausen unfortunately just didn't have a good day. He just did not have a good day on Sunday. We've seen when he's been able to completely command the strike zone, and unfortunately, he struggled with command, and they were able to hit on him as well. And so you go into the bottom of the fifth down 7-3. And again, you're going, okay, well, we had the first two, Christian Little's out of the ball game. We've already used a lot of our bullpen guys on Saturday. Maybe this is where LSU, lays down, not intentionally, obviously, but maybe this is where LSU gives up the loss on the weekend, right? So you're down 7-3 midway through the fifth. In the fifth, Milazzo reaches on an error. Dugas walks. Trey walks. You get back-to-back singles by your guys, Cruz and White. Beloso walks. JT walks. You get a sac fly by Jones. Pearson walks, and then a single by Milazzo, and boom. You've scored 6 runs, and it's 9-7. Just like that. I understand it wasn't the exact way that we wanted it. We wanted to more so see the hits, but Dugas, who struggled, got on base. JT, Jones, Pearson, they all walked. They were incredibly disciplined at the plate. And this is where we're in the fifth inning, guys. This is where it could potentially, if you don't score runs there, maybe they get a little lackadaisical and then Alabama kind of pulls away a little bit. But they were extremely disciplined at the plate. You got hits when you needed them. And ultimately, you score a 6 spot. You put up a 6 spot in the fifth. LSU's most productive innings this year has been in the 5th and the 6th inning. LSU gave you 3 runs in the 6th inning in game 1. They gave you 4 runs in the 6th inning on game 2. And in game 3, they gave you 6 runs in the 5th inning. In the 5th and the 6th inning is when LSU is going to do their damage. They have proved it time and time and time again, and they did the same this weekend, and specifically on Sunday in the 5th inning. So it's 9-7. LSU, Blake Money comes in, wasn't perfect, gives up two runs, which ties it midway through the 7th, but he didn't give up the big crooked number. And he had already pitched on Saturday and giving you a great outing. So this is the second time Bama was seeing him this weekend. I understand, obviously, you want to put up a 0, but with what we have right now in the bullpen, I'll take it, right? Because we are extremely thin with the bullpen, and whatever they can do, if they can at least limit the damage and not give it the crooked number, I'm okay with it. So Cooper comes in, bases juiced in the 7th, and he gets you a massive, massive strikeout to end the threat and keep the game tied at 9 midway through the 7th. Then in the 7th, Pearson doubles, Milazzo singles. Dugas, for the 3rd time in as many games, gets hit by pitch. Dugas got hit by a pitch every single game this weekend. That dude, I don't know why. The ball is just attracted to him. Trey walked, Cruz walked, and you're able to score 2 there in the 7th. Then in the 8th, you're just trying to tag on. You're trying to add on runs there. Coop was phenomenal in the 8th inning, shut down Bama. Home run by JT, home run by Kling, which was phenomenal to finally see Kling back in the lineup and get some pop. I mean, we forget, guys, but the dude had like 3 home runs in 6 games. They mentioned that on the broadcast. Like, Kling is your future. So you want to see him get some very valuable reps, some very valuable playing time this season and under this team, because he's going to have to step up. He's your guy next year. Guys, he is your guy next year. And he is going to be your center fielder. So you want to see him get some very quality playing time, and he did. He came in late in the ball game on Sunday and gave you a home run, gave you some insurance. Ultimately, you win the game 13-11. In the top of the ninth, you had the pop fly that they couldn't find, that Jones couldn't find. He loses it in the sun. You also had the bloop single that just kind of landed in the Bermuda Triangle of all of the first baseman, second baseman, and the right fielder. So some weird things kind of happened in the ninth, but LSU was able to get the job done and get the sweep. And now they currently lead the SEC West, and they are only a half game behind the lead overall in the SEC, as South Carolina dropped 2 of 3 to Auburn this weekend. So look out for Auburn this upcoming weekend, as LSU has to travel to the Plains to play Auburn. Auburn is not playing around. They obviously haven't had a great season, but they went to South Carolina and took 2 of 3 from that team. So they are obviously very capable. And now they're going to be at home against the number 1 team in the country, and you know they're going to be playing their best and trying their hardest to finally knock off the number 1 team from winning a weekend series in SEC play. So all that to say, LSU is sitting in a really good spot now. You've got 3 weekends left. You got to go to Auburn. You get State at home, and then you got to go to Georgia. The schedule is obviously very favorable. It continues to be very favorable for you seeding-wise in the SEC tournament and in the overall NCAA tournament as a potential national seed and getting to host a super regional. So great weekend for the Tigers to be able to sweep. I love getting to watch it. It made me super happy to be able to get to see that on my birthday weekend, and for them to be able to pull off the win. Let's take a quick break, guys, and then when we come back, we will discuss kind of all things LSU. We're going to discuss the draft. We're going to discuss, obviously, Garrett Nussmeier staying and a little bit more spring football, and really just cover a whole bunch of things LSU. So when we get back, we'll do some LSU lagniappe, and we will talk all things LSU sports.
5-Star Hero, your intro and outro music for the Tigers Avenue show. They ain't ready for that LSU. Go check out all his other music on all the major platforms. Don't forget to follow him on Instagram at Saints Anthem and at Twitter at One Nation Doty. Don't forget to check out his Facebook page for all his Saints and LSU merchandise. Can't get any better than Sarah Klein Stevens, attorney at law. Her firm focuses on the needs of the elderly and maintaining their dignity throughout the process. Here for you, here for your family. Sarah Klein Stevens, attorney at law.
And Justin Broussard said Dylan ain't coding nothing's at. Look, I understand, but Pickney had a really good weekend. I mean, the dude had 5 hits on Friday. Like, that's extremely rare to do. I mean, he is the reason Alabama was in all of those ball games. Was Andrew Pickney. I'm totally cool with Dylan Cruz winning. Robert said, I think Javen Coleman going to be starting by regional play. Robert, I would love to see that. And if he is, that is in a Sunday role, game 3 role, and that is we're going to put him out there for the first 3. But I really think they like what they have right now with Christian Little. Christian Little isn't really losing you ball games right now. He's kind of holding it together right now for you. So I highly doubt that, Robert, but I'd be totally fine with it. Javen Coleman looked phenomenal this weekend. You want to hope to potentially see him extend for you a little bit more. Obviously, he is still trying to come back from the Tommy John surgery. We'll see. All right, guys, let's get to a few more things. And by the way, guys, because I am solo tonight, y'all send me questions. I want y'all to send me questions. I know all my faithful followers and listeners are in here. Send hashtag tell me TA, or if you want to, you can do hashtag ask Zach, but let's do hashtag tell me TA. So send hashtag tell me TA, ask me some questions. It can be anything baseball related, women's basketball related, whatever. Football related, go ahead, y'all. I want all of y'all to send me a question because I want to engage with y'all tonight. Since Reagan is gone, let's have some conversation. Obviously, me and Reagan are usually having conversation with each other. So, y'all conversate with me a little bit. Y'all send me some questions. Tyler, Ryan, Robert, Justin, all y'all in here. Send me a question. I would love to answer your questions. But before we do that, let's discuss the NFL draft. So, LSU, guys, I got to be honest, I wasn't as into this NFL draft as I have been in the past. And mainly because I knew what a lot of the result would be for LSU in this draft. And as Blake talked about on AYS, if y'all joined us for AYS last hour, a lot of what happened in this NFL draft with LSU not really getting a lot of guys, at least taken early, was due to the fact that Ed Orgeron completely mismanaged your roster and you lost so many guys. Guys, you lost the opportunity of a lot of first rounders. If Eric Gilbert stays, what does that potentially look like? Does he potentially become a first rounder if he stays and is committed to LSU? Because he had a really good start to his freshman campaign. Does Eli Ricks go in the first round if he stays at LSU? Because he also had a phenomenal freshman year. There's a lot of what ifs that you can ask between 2020 to 2022 LSU. And one of those is, how many guys do you put in the draft and how many of those guys are taken in the first 1 to 3 rounds, right? But unfortunately, it is what it is. And I think obviously LSU is for the better now with Brian Kelly at the helm. But let's go through it. So, first one taken off the board was pretty obvious. B.J. Ojulari, he goes to the Arizona Cardinals. There was a lot of other Louisiana guys. If y'all just want to discuss Louisiana and specifically not just LSU, but Terrence, Osiris Terrence also was taken in the draft. Obviously, he went to Florida, but he went to Buffalo. There's a lot of guys that were in Louisiana. Louisiana was very well represented, but specifically for the LSU guys, B.J. Ojulari goes to Arizona. Anthony Bradford goes to Seattle. Jay Ward goes to Minnesota. Jaquelin Roy goes to Minnesota. Kayshon Boutte slips all the way down to the 6th round and is taken by the New England Patriots. Jarrett Bernard-Converse goes to the New York Jets. And then you had a bunch of guys that signed that were undrafted free agents that signed. So ultimately, guys, look, I'm not going to really talk about it a whole lot, but best of luck to all those LSU players. I mean, I think back to so many times throughout 2020 and 2022 and the years that BJ 2020, 2021, 2022, all those years that BJ Ojulari stuck it out, man. And he was a major key factor into staying on and this LSU team being rebuilt. I mean, a lot of these guys are Anthony Bradford, Jay Ward, Jaquelin Roy, all these guys. They were a part of building the foundation that BK has built for the years to come. And they were guys that in the toughest times at LSU, they stuck it out. And so best of luck to them in their pro careers. All the guys that got drafted, all the guys that signed deals as undrafted free agents, best of luck to all of them. I look forward to seeing how all of them do in the NFL. And look, guys, I understand like a lot of people are talking about Kayshon Boutte going in the 6th round, and a lot of people are saying that he probably deserved it. But look, if I'm the New England Patriots and I get to draft Kayshon Boutte in the 6th round, that's kind of a steal because we know what Kayshon Boutte is capable of. And I also think Jarrett Bernard-Converse going as late as he did is also a little bit of a steal. I mean, Jarrett Bernard-Converse owned the Bama game. Had a phenomenal against your best opponent. This past season, you owned the game. Jarrett Bernard Converse was in the spotlight and he owned the game. Obviously, we all remember the interception at the goal line. So I think a lot of these guys, probably a little underdrafted, but it's kind of what you expected to see this year, especially considering everything that happened. And look, a lot of the guys that you're going to see go in higher rounds, they stayed. Listen, guys, Jaden Daniels is going to be barring something crazy, Jaden Daniels is probably going to be a top 3 round pick, top 3 round draft pick. Malik Neighbors, Mason Smith. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. A lot of the guys that you're going to see go in the first 1 to 3 rounds that are going to go higher in the draft than you saw in this past draft class, they're still on the roster. And so that bodes really well for LSU. And so that kind of leads me into my next point, discussing spring football. Guys, news broke today. Garrett Nussmeier is not leaving. And I got to be honest. Got to be totally honest, guys. I was one of those people that thought that Garrett Nussmeier would leave. I thought that Garrett Nussmeier, once you had Walker Howard in on campus, I thought Garrett Nussmeier would leave after last year, and that eventually, especially after Jaden Daniels announced that he was coming back, I fully believed that Howard was going to be it was going to be Howard's team the next year after this upcoming season, and Garrett stuck it out. And it takes me back to 2019. Whenever he was getting recruited, and he was the one going out there and he was recruiting himself. He was going out there trying to get players to commit to LSU. Garrett Nussmeier is what you want in an LSU football player. He is committed, and it doesn't matter that they brought in Jaden Daniels, and Jaden Daniels was named the starter last year, and then he decides to come back, and it's been very well stated that he is the starter. This is Jaden Daniels' team. But Garrett has continued to grind, and he's continued to get better and better. We think about the second half in the Georgia game this past year when he went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, as Blake would put it. And I am extremely excited about what LSU will get in 2024 when Garrett Nussmeier is your starting quarterback. Make no mistakes about it, guys. Unless he gets injured or something crazy happens, Garrett Nussmeier will be your starting quarterback in 2024. And I am ecstatic about that. Obviously, I'm going to be ecstatic about this next year, with Jaden Daniels and everybody that's coming back. LSU is going to be a title contender. But the news, how that Nuss is staying, is massive for the following 2 years. We'll see, how he does, and when he gets that full year where he is the guy in 2024, how long he stays. But he's going to have 2 more years after this season. So it's massive. And to think, we just discussed all of those guys that left the program between 2020 and 2022 when BK came on, right? And yet nothing. The second window for the transfer portal has come and gone. And you didn't have any LSU scholarship, LSU players that entered the portal. That's insane. Think about all of the transition that you had the past 2 years to have nothing. And guys, not only that, but that's a common thing nowadays. Guys leaving to go and seek greener pastures. That's normal. We see it all the time. And we're going to see more of it. It's going to be it's become a normalized thing now. The attrition that you see from year to year during these transfer portal windows, to see LSU go through the second window with zero scholarship players entering the portal is massive. Massive. Now, I have to also discuss the possibility of transfer portal players coming into LSU. As we mentioned, Logan Diggs, the running back out of Notre Dame, there's been a lot of talk about him potentially coming to LSU. And it seems as if that talk is continuing to gain some traction. It looks promising. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not giving you a prediction right now that it will happen. But it is something that, for me, I would be totally fine with. Guys, Josh Williams has been injured. John Emery is dealing with academic issues. You got 2 freshmen that are coming in that are potential, but that are obviously big potential, but they're also freshmen. And then you have Noah Kane, who's been good, but not great. I wouldn't even say he's been stable. And then you have Armani Goodwin that's been dealing with injury, right? But to look at Logan Diggs, he is a stable running back. He's a guy that's been extremely consistent. And maybe that's what they want, because you're dealing with players that have and the injury bug, and you're dealing with players that have academic issues. Maybe Brian Kelly is just kind of done with it and is like, hey, I want a guy that is stable, consistent. And listen, I'm not taking anything off Josh Williams, because Josh Williams is that. He was that for you last year. And I hope he gets healthy, and I hope he is able to be that again for this upcoming season. But maybe Brian Kelly's going, I don't know how healthy Armani is. I don't know if I'm going to have John Emery. I got 2 freshmen, but I don't know how they will pan out and on the college level. Maybe I need to go out and get somebody that is a proven running back, that's been stable, that's been good. And maybe that's what they do. Now, listen, guys, if that happens, if they go out and get Logan Diggs, you are going to see guys hit the transfer portal. I fully believe that. If you don't, holy cow, phenomenal job by BK. But if you, and I understand right now, but you're going to see guys that are not going to play. Like, some of these running backs are not going to play. Okay. So, like, you're going to see them leave the program. Obviously, I understand the transfer portal window is closed, but you're going to see some running backs leave the program if you go and you get Logan Diggs. So, it's going to be very, very interesting. What's also interesting is the hype that is building around wide receiver Keon Coleman. Keon Coleman is a true sophomore from Michigan State that is from Louisiana. He's from Opelousas. I hope I'm saying that right, guys. Forgive me if I'm saying it incorrectly. But look, this is a guy that he had 7 touchdowns in 2022. He accumulated almost 800 yards receiving. He's averaging 14 yards a catch. This is a guy that is a potential piece that Brian Kelly and his staff could add. And I understand it's been talked about, like, will he see playing time? Yes, he will see playing time. I think with the offense that Brian Kelly and Mike Denbrock are going to run, you're going to see a lot of receivers rotate in and out. We saw it last year. We saw a lot of receivers rotate in and out. This is going to be an offense that is multiple. And if you have an offense that is multiple, you're going to want guys with different skill sets and that can rotate in and out fluidly. And so do they go and get a guy like Keon Coleman, who is a Louisiana guy? And look, I don't know if y'all saw it, but he entered. And not long after he entered, we saw a tweet from Jordan Arsamon that mentioned coming home to Louisiana and telling players that if they wanted to come home to Louisiana, to do it. So, just saying. All right, guys, let's get to a few comments, and then we'll wrap it up early here tonight. If you want to send me a comment, go ahead and do it. We got several people watching right now, so before we end, go ahead. Tell me now. Send it now. If you have a statement you want to send, if you have a question you want to ask, go ahead and send it now. Justin Broussard is the first to do it. He says, hashtag tell me TA. What is your win total prediction for football? I would say that the floor is 9 wins and the ceiling is undefeated. I don't want to give you an exact total right now. When we get closer to the fall, I'm gonna start thinking about that, and then I'll give you a final prediction. But right now, very early, I think the floor is 9 wins and the ceiling is undefeated. We'll have to wait. Maybe 10. Maybe 10 is the floor. My guy Chance Ivy's in here. What's up, Chance, bro? He said, "Go Tigers." Chance, I'm pretty sure you're an Ole Miss fan. I mean, if I remember correctly, your brother Noah is an LSU fan, and you're an Ole Miss fan. But maybe your brother has turned you to the dark side. So if he has, we appreciate you joining on, bro. Let's see. Justin Broussard said, "I don't see how Nuss staying is news." And it really isn't, Justin, but I think it's massive. To be able to finally just see it officially released and somebody say, like, hey, he's here. Because there was always in the back of people's mind, that little concern, what if we lose Nuss? But I was extremely excited to get to have him. And I mentioned it on the last podcast. If y'all haven't, go and watch on LSU's Twitter or Facebook, wherever, his mic'd up in the spring game. I loved getting to see that. Robert said, Nuss loves LSU. Nuss loves LSU. He is not leaving. He has purple and gold in his blood. Those are the kids you want. Those are the kids you want at LSU. Justin also said, I'm so over John Emery. I hope John Emery can play. I really do. I want to see him succeed, and I want to see him work through this academics because, man, he's explosive. I mean, we think about the catch out of the backfield and the touchdown run in the Bama game. I mean, that gave you the lead to start the game. So he's explosive, man. He's just got to get some things straightened out. Robert also asked, who would take Allen from Nebraska or Diggs? Robert, I don't know. You're gonna have to remind me, Allen. I haven't looked. I don't think I've Allen. I'm guessing this is a player in the transfer portal. Remind me who Allen is, because I don't. Allen from Nebraska. All right, send me the full name so I can look into that, Robert, because I have not looked into that. Who would take Diggs? You also mentioned Diggs. I'm hoping it's LSU. I think LSU has a good chance at landing Logan Diggs. Let's see. Going to be a little harder. Tell me, TA, starting 11 on defense. Ooh. Okay, Jason. Let me think about this. Jeez, this is going to be tough. Okay, so your safeties are going to be Major Burns, Greg Brooks. I think your slot is Deuce Chestnut. On your bookends at the corner, Zy Alexander, Denver Harris. That's 5. Linebacker, Ovia Gufu, Harold Perkins. And then on your line, Mason Smith, Makai Wingo. I'm going blank. Braden Swinson. And I'm going blank on one of the players. Oh, I'm sorry. Ovia Gofu is going to be on the line as well. He's going to be hand in the dirt, blitzing the quarterback. And Omar Spates is going to be your other linebacker. I think that's how it goes. Deshaun Womack. I see you said Deshaun Womack. I would love to see Deshaun Womack. Let's see. Okay, Ajay Allen. Guys, I got to be honest. Let me look at this guy. Jai Allen. Okay, so a running back. Okay. Guys, I have not I gotta be honest, I have not seen or have not looked into this player. He said he's from Neville. He's at Nebraska. I wonder where his stats are. I will look into him, guys, because I honestly have not looked into him. Yes, thank you, Adam. Omar Spates is who I was forgetting. I think Omar Spates, and it's going to be Omar Spates and Perk at the linebacker position with Ovi Agufu in the dirt, hand in the dirt. Sometimes I think he'll be standing. I mean, it's going to be a multiple look defense. They're going to have multiple different looks. So these guys are going to have. There's going to be players that have different roles. Okay. I think Deshaun Womack could definitely start. I think maybe they go with some more experience there. We'll see. And I got to be honest, I have not done my in-depth look at each position group. So who asked me that? Jason, you asked me really early, but, I'm in baseball mode right now. But I am excited to be thinking about that. So to give you my final answer, safeties, Greg Brooks, Major Burns, at nickel, Deuce Chestnut, bookend at the corner spots, Zy Alexander and Denver Harris. Linebackers, Harold Perkins and Omar Spates. On your defensive line, Mason Smith, Makai Wingo, Braden Swinson, and Ovi Agufu. So we'll see how that plays out. I think that is a dangerous lineup. That is a dangerous lineup to have on the defensive end. But we'll see. I think the defensive line, the bookends on the defensive line, that could change. I also think that the corner spot, the corner and the nickel spots, that could possibly change. But the safeties and the linebackers, I'm pretty firm on. So I'll probably still have that opinion once we get into the fall. Let's see. Okay, so you're saying would I prefer Logan Diggs or would I prefer Ajay Allen? I think I'd prefer Diggs. Brian Kelly obviously has worked with him. Logan Diggs had some really massive moments for Notre Dame last year. So yeah, I think I would prefer Diggs. So we will see. All right, guys. I think that's all I have for y'all tonight. Again, thank y'all for joining. Thank y'all for sending all of your comments. I do apologize. I know a lot of you expected Coach Gary to be in here. We will work on rescheduling him. Hopefully, he's able to fit us in his schedule, extremely busy schedule, trying to recruit and host players. So, and who knows, maybe this next week or so, we will get some news on some potentially more transfer players coming into women's basketball, and who knows, maybe men's as well. So we will discuss it all here in the Tigers Avenue. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back to wrap up the show.
Make sure you go follow us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Tigers Avenue, for daily updates on the show and all things LSU sports. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to click off and hit that subscribe button at Tigers Avenue. We broadcast all of our shows live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.
All right, guys. Thank you all for joining. Reagan, if you're watching or if you will watch this eventually or listen eventually, hope everything went well tonight. Taking care of your wife and the babies, my nephews. Gotta love them. Gotta love kids. But we'll be back here on Friday to discuss the midweek game and also to preview LSU versus Auburn this weekend in the baseball series, and anything else that happens between now and Friday. We will discuss it here in the Tigers Avenue. Thank y'all for joining. We'll see you next time. 5-Star here. Take us out. Peace.